between research governance versus deployment governance? Someone doing scales in the background there. It's quite intense, isn't it?
So we'd said start small scale, then include the likes of America and places.
So what does small scale look like? What is small scale?
I suppose again there's smaller countries maybe.
Okay, so actually starting...
Yeah. Okay. In my head that's what you'd do, you'd start small and go bigger. But again, if there's less population, their climate might be better off than someone with a big population. You know, it's a...
And are we talking about kind of... I just need to clarify, so kind of smaller population or more climate vulnerable?
Oh, good question, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, climate change doesn't really discriminate, does it?
Yeah.
It's the impacts of what we've done here, as an example, saying we're still in the Industrial Revolution now, the crap we're putting up, the CO2 we're putting up in the air is going to make an effect up there, and if do climate change down in a poorer country or somewhere in Africa, it doesn't really it's a wider issue from one spot. I don't know, I'm kind of lost myself in my own words there. You can't really turn around and go, oh, we'll do it in this area because there's, say, one of the Pacific Islands, they're losing their land because of rising sea levels. All right, they probably have no cars there or any sort of carbon dioxide producing anything, but they are being affected by climate change. So blocking the sun out, doing some sort of SMR deployment there isn't going to help them. That makes sense. It doesn't reflect on their area. Not as in reflecting, but as in it doesn't reflect like it's an improvement because it's a global scale.
So it's kind of thinking about balancing and just appreciating how climate change is affecting countries across the communities differently, but also the emission levels are different. So it's kind of
I think if you're doing a small scale deployment, you're more looking at the localised temperature drop,
right?
More than anything in the practical.
So being really considerate of the localised context.
Yeah.
So then it does bring about another question: do we help? Or I say we. Does the governance help the worst off places first, or not? And it's what's fair. So.
Yeah, and I mean it's the context of deployment. Is that a global thing, or is it kind of targeted? And I think we've talked a lot about the modelling would need to show a really clear picture of what the impacts of both options would be.
Because I think if you look at it like the publicised or broadcasted climate change, you got all the stuff in Texas last year where they had snowfall in Texas where they never had snowfall, but had very little snowfall, and they had about 4 inches of it. And then here we've had snow in May. We know we're affected by it more because it's documented more. And then same with say South Asia, you've got the Philippines with their drastic flooding and everything like that. Everything's well documented, but then you can't say the same thing where you can't. You can say, oh, we'll do it, we'll deploy it there, for example, because then that, you can see it there, but then you don't know if, say, some very rural place, in Borneo, for example, but it's not, their climate change isn't being reported, so that's going to get ignored.
So there's so we need to be, when we're thinking about governance and the deployment on a global, or this whole issue on a global scale, we need to both just to be aware of the different ways in which climate change is affecting different areas around the world. So therefore, they might think about SRM in a different way. You know, if they are, I don't know, having more flooding or strange snowfall events, would there be maybe public opposition to reflecting sunlight away, for example? Fantastic, thank you.
Can I ask a question based on what Joseph said? Would your opinion change on deployment if we knew that the impacts in the UK territory were negative, but that it would prevent small islands, like you said, from disappearing? Is that a trade-off you would
when you say negative,
as in like it would increase droughts in the UK or floods or vice versa?
well, this is it, isn't it? We're trying to find the balance with it, or we're trying to look into SRM. The deployment is might going to make things worse in one area, but make things better in another. We don't know.
That would be down as well to principles and human nature, wouldn't it? Some of us would save someone else over ourselves and some of us wouldn't.
Yeah, but is that something that makes you comfortable if the ones that would be worse off included you?
No, it would be a uncomfortable situation.
Even if you knew that someone would, that you would be saving someone's life.
Oh, I see what you say. I would choose to save them, me personally, but I don't know what anyone else would do. So
we're in a first world civilization, as it were. The rising level, where sea levels, where a whole culture, whole way of life is pretty much on risk. I don't know. I think I would. Yeah. I could say I live comfortably, so I would turn around and go, no, a whole culture is at risk of being submerged underwater.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I'm conscious of time, and I'd love for us just to spend the last part of our time together, kind of thinking about priorities in some ways, because for NERC, they really want to get a kind of clear picture of where your priorities are. We've had loads of rich discussion, they'll all be reflected in the report. That's why we do the audio recordings, and it's why we capture everything on the flip charts. But if we were to come up with kind of 3 to 5 key messages from today, from our discussions today, that could be priorities for research or priorities for deployment.
For governance.
No, for everything. We're thinking really broad.
Yes, but I'm saying my priority is governance before it becomes deployment and research.
Yeah, that's really important. I agree. So what I would love for you to do is just write down on a post-it your priority, and then we'll come and have a chat about them, and we might need to kind of group and narrow them down. So just everyone take a post-it and a pen and write down your one key message from today. So this could be a principle. There could be one principle that's resonating you from our earlier discussions that you think is really, really important that we prioritise. Or it could be, there's one technique, there's one scientific method. You think actually SAI, we should be focusing on SAI. Forget about MCB or whatever. If you think that's really important, and that's something because it's more, you think it's more hopeful. We're nearly there, so everyone could just. Like it's hard to just do.
Well, I've just written down a governance structure to be agreed, because I think that comes first.
And that's a governance structure for
authorising research and then authorising implementation, yes.
Okay, so the importance of the governance and the collaboration at all stages.
Yes, because otherwise the danger is you have random people doing random things, not working together, not sharing information and so on. And with a topic like this, I would have thought that